blue zones are the areas that, for example, on average we take 1,000 people and we will find that only one person from 1,000 can live over 100 years. But in blue zones the rate is much higher. So this is the areas where, for example, for 1,000 people you can find like, let's say, eight centenarians, which is a lot comparing to other regions. So, and this is a few areas, and the areas are, as Valery said, Japan, Okinawa, and Greece, Sardinia in Italy, Costa Rica, and there is a special place in California, but it's special because there is a religious tribe called Lama Linda, something like that, and there they kind of do special they follow rules that allow them to live longer. So, for example, they don't drink, they exercise, they try not to eat meat, and so on and so forth. So the goal of this session actually today, after reading books and reading many articles and combining all the things together, I just tried to collect all these crispy tips that you can take away and try to implement in your own life. So this is kind of, you know, the juice of the juices from all the books that were together, which is actually what you're going to see is not going to be surprise because you already spent 3 days during the conference. But the first thing to start with is actually to implement something or to change something. We need to find out where we are standing right now. And there is a way how the scientists are now working to increase the longevity, and they're working that from different perspectives. For example, I already talked about this amazing C. elegans. And one of the things that they're trying to do is experimenting with different chemicals. So what the scientists, like for example, also Aubrey de Grey, or there is Mikhail Batin in Russia, they are thinking that if we create the magic pill, we can extend our life. And it's kind of have sense because there is a C. elegans which lives 28 days, and they experiment with C. elegans and they find out that if they inject some special chemical to C. elegans, she was living 5 times longer than she's supposed to live. So the magic pill maybe is coming. At the same time, there is another experiment that this poor cute little mouse is living 2.5 years, and they couldn't achieve the same result with a mouse. So they were trying to do similar things, and they could increase only extend the life of the mouse only to 60–70%. And when they tried it on the humans, it didn't work at all. So, but another thing that what we can do is look to the close relatives. So look at this cutie, and she has a relative. A little bit less cute naked mole rat. And what also scientists can do is to see because they're really close as a relatives, to see what kind of things this not cute mouse has, and implement it to the normal mouse. And what they find out, that what can be probably helpful, and what we already talked about, is stem cells rejuvenation, maintaining genome stability, increasing the stress resistance, destruction of the old cells, and telomerase reactivation. So this is the science already working on that, but at the same time it's kind of working on the magic pill that might help us to increase our longevity in the future. But it's still working only on the mice a little bit, on the worms more, but not working on the humans. And we are here actually to think how we can increase our lifespan to live till this maybe magic pill will be created one day. So the first thing that we can do right now, and I am actually very sure in that, and what we are already doing, is measuring the different things in our body. And as yesterday our speaker Anya said, that for example we can't take something like a perfect diet as paleo, for example, or any other diet and implement on ourselves and think that it will work. So what can probably help us is to know ourselves as much as we can.
No.
Okay. So we already passed this test, and yeah, it's just basic things like doing the blood test and finding out what's going on, what kind of elements are there, what things are working and what things are not working. And I personally started, I will put them all. I personally started with simple things like doing ultrasound of all the body organs and doing blood check, and then I moved to more complicated things. Like now I decided to do the whole fMRI body scan to find out what's going on inside really. So the same, we can actually think about the food, that we can start from removing the sugar from our everyday diet, and then we can move to more complicated things, trying to implement the new things and to see how it works. So what else I also did with it, I also recommend you, is finding out what kind of products your immune system is accepting and tolerating, and what kind of products it might be not super good for you. Like in Russia, the test called immunohealth tests, and it shows you what kind of products are good for you and what kind of products are kind of okay for you and what kind of products are not good for you. Then what we already actually talked about is that what can improve our lifespan is healthy living, is healthy sleep. So my personal experience comes just to observe as Nastya taught us, our cycles, and to find out what kind of things when I'm the most energetic, and that's definitely the morning. And I think for you guys it's all going to be different, so I'm not going to stop a lot on that. Yeah, so other obvious conclusion that you probably know, that and all the research showed on the blue zones, that each centenarian was actually moving a lot. And at the same time, as Nina was talking on her session, that it was not any specific kind of exercise. They were just naturally moving. They were walking, they were working in the garden, they were taking care of their animals or something like that, but all of them spent a lot of time on moving around, moving their bodies and limbs. And that's, if we kind of sum up it, then we need minimum 30 minutes of exercises at least 5 times per week. And 5 times per week exercises means that you at least try to do something that makes you sweat. So that's the minimum that helps to, that will add you some ages. And what my personal experience into that, how to implement the tips that sometimes we use with Mike, for example, is and our friend, his friend recommended to that. So just before going to eat, do some I call it deserve the food. So you do some jumps and squats or 20 minutes of aerobic or whatever, and then you just go to eat. And first of all, it will make you more hungry. Second, it will actually be very helpful and healthy for you, and it will increase your lifespan. Another tip that I also recommend is actually having some simple, easy goal, like swimming in New Zealand and being ready for this. Yeah, that's what helps me actually not to escape the training. So if you know that you're preparing for something bigger, then you will do it anyway, because you don't want to die between your swim. You need to be ready for that. Another thing is creating the obstacles in your house. For example, if you're watching the TV, so you put the remote controller somewhere far away from you, so each time you need to switch the channels, you think twice, because then you need to walk. Or kind of, yeah, as I said, jumping or whatever, so just being creative in that. When people in Okinawa, they start their meal, they said hara hachibu, which means finish the meal when you're 80% full. So, and that's what actually helped many people, according to all the research, to live much longer than others, because it didn't that they have so much food and they decided we'll eat maybe less. It's kind of, for some of them it became natural because they didn't have enough resources. But for us, many research shows, unfortunately, that we need to limit our amount of the food we eat, and it will be actually very healthy for us. Actually watching the amount is really healthy, and I feel like if I eat less, I feel much better, much lighter, and much more cheerful, and it's like not blame myself that I overeat. So yeah. So another thing that they found, and that works for each and every blue zone. In different blue zones, they had different fruits and vegetables and whatever, but it's, as Anya already said, is plant-based diet. So the more plants, the more vegetables and fruits we eat, feels like the meta research shows that it's going to be better for us. The ikigai is the meaning of your life. So if you have the reason, vision why they're doing what they're doing, why they're waking up, and ikigai is basically that: have the mission, have the vision why actually you live there. So for some Centurionians, it was their family. Someone was serving some mission, someone was working in religious organizations, but from scientific point of view, as Richard Davidson would say, that if your genes say if there is a reason to live, your genes are like, okay, let's stick around. We have something important to do. So that I really like this phrase, and having this clear understanding why you are here is actually gives you years and years of life, because you understand what is the purpose. Another thing that everyone considered very important from Centurionians is having the family, and having this close one people with whom you're sharing the most important thing in your life. And yeah, kind of having your family rituals, spending the time with your close people. And I think that in my personal experience, I started to understand the power of the family only after my 30s, and actually started to work with about on relationship with my relatives, especially with my mom and with my granny, and building the connection. So, and I feel that it was very beneficial for my health as well, in terms of psychological health, and like joyfulness we get right now with my mom from the relationship is not comparable to the fights we had a few years ago, and we couldn't even talk with each other. So from my personal experience, it's extremely important. And yeah, one of the things that I really liked in Okinawa, for example, they have like a corner with something related to their family, like photographs, like small things that, you know, you come and you remember the most interesting moments that you spend with your family or something like that. So just building this connection is something that I think we underestimate when we're very young, or we're just young. So yeah. Another thing is what we need to have to create the healthier, longer life is our tribe. So for example, in Okinawa, they get together with even when they're 90 years old or 95 years old. Every day, the women get the circles. It's called mo'ao, and they discuss something like something's related to them, something related to their neighbors or whatever. But getting social
As
is
in gossiping?
yes. Yeah, even gossiping. Like, but it's just, I think it doesn't matter what you do, what kind of thing, but the human connection, like either it's your family or also the tribe, really, really, really matters. So yes, is yeah, basic things is creates the environment where you feel comfortable with. That's my personal kind of intention while to build Supertribe, because like seeing Mike, for example, is always nice, and we share the same aesthetic, and creating gathering people for the event where we spend the time and we share the same knowledge, the same vibe is actually very, very cool.